Well, hello, my YouTube fellas and gals. So, if you're new to my channel, I actually own a used bookstore and I sell used books. So, I do them through Etsy though. So, what people do is they'll come and tell me how many they want. I put them together, put them in my Etsy, and then I'll send you a link or tell you where to go. And then you could go find your special order with your first name and purchase it. And voila, you're done. It's an easy checkout. And I also do it by media mail so that you get the best prices. So I do 10 books usually per video, and if I do any more or less, I usually tell the number at the beginning, but the majority I do 10. And today it'll be all hardbacks. It's from the action suspense genre, and they will be $3 a piece. And also, I'm not the library, so sci-fi and whodunits, vampires, anything like that all goes under my action suspense because that's how I feel they should be categorized, in my opinion, to make it short and sweet. So here is book number 1. I tell you the copyrights, and I will read the synopsises to you so you know what the book's about. And if you have a Kindle or Nook, I'm also a resource center so that you can look them up and read them. So here is 2010 copyright. It's called The Infernal Devices, Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. It is a 2010 copyright. Like I said, this is what the book looks like, so you can see the shape of the book. Nice hardback. The only thing that's on it is this little black mark right here. Okay, and then this is what the book is about. When 16-year-old Tessa Gray crosses the ocean to find her brother, her destination in England, the time is the reign of Queen Victoria, and something terrifying is waiting for her in London's downworld, where vampires, warlocks, and other supernatural folk stalk the gaslit streets. Only the shadow hunters, warriors dedicated to ridding the world of demons, keep order amidst the chaos. Kidnapped by the mysterious Dark Sisters, who are members of a secret organization called the Pandemonium Club, Tessa soon learns that she herself is a downworlder with a rare ability, the power to transform at will into another person. What's more, the Magister, the shadowy figure who runs the club, will stop at nothing to claim Tessa's power for his own. Friendless and hunted, Tessa takes refuge with the shadow hunters of the London Institute, who swear to find her brother if she will still use her power to help them. She soon finds herself fascinated by and torn between two best friends, James, whose fragile beauty hides a deadly secret, and Blue-Eyed Will, whose caustic wit and volatile moods keep everyone in his life at arm's length. Everyone, that is, but Tessa. As their search draws them deep into the heart of an arcane plot that threatens to destroy the Shadowhunters, Tessa realizes that she may need to choose between saving her brothers and helping her new friends save the world. And that love may be the most dangerous magic of all. So there you go. Book number 1. Book number 2, we have The Bandcroft Strategy by Robert Ludlum. This is what the book looks like. It is a 2006 copyright, and I just noticed there was some writing in this in pencil. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to erase it. Sorry for the interruption there. I like my books clean as possible. Okay. So this is what the book is about. Did I say 2006 copyright? I hope. Okay, let me get to the part. Todd Belknap, a legendary field agent for consular operations with a reputation as a cowboy, is cut loose from the agency after an operation goes wrong. At the same time, Jared Reinhardt, his best friend and fellow agent, is abducted in Lebanon by a militia group with a vicious reputation. When the government refuses to either rescue Reinhardt or negotiate for his release, Belknap decides to take matters into his own hands. Meanwhile, hedge fund analyst Andrea Bancroft gets a surprising call. She is to receive an unexpected bequest of $12 million from a cousin she never met. But with one condition, she must agree to sit on the board of Bancroft Family Foundation, a charitable organization that is run by the family patriarch, Paul Bancroft. Having never been involved with or even met the family, his mother was briefly married to Bancroft and cut off all contact many years ago. Andrea is intrigued, but the foundation, which is dedicated to doing strategic good deeds, appears less and less benign the more deeply involved she gets. What exactly is their involvement with the Genesis? A mysterious individual working to destabilize the geopolitical balance at the risk of millions of lives as events escalate. Todd Belknap and Andrea Bancroft come together and must form an uneasy alliance if they are to uncover the truth behind Genesis before it's too late. So there you go. Book number 2. Book number 3, we have The Complete Science Fiction Treasury of H.G. Wells. This looks like a really nice collection if you're an H.G. Wells fan. That's what the book looks like. Love the covers. The jackets so protect the books. This is, what is the copyright on this one? I thought I put it down, but I guess I didn't. It doesn't really say. (1866 to 1946) must be when each of the books were written. I'm guessing it's a 1978 printing. From what I read on the inside. Okay, so this is what it's about. H.G. Wells, the father of modern science fiction, continues to stir the imaginations of countless readers today all over the world. Contained in this single volume are 7 of his most brilliant science fiction novels that unquestionably rank with the finest classics of English literature. So that's not bad. You're getting 7 books for $3. First and foremost, these short novels are to be enjoyed simply for the untiring spirit of adventure, romance, and fantasy that pervades them. To H.G. Wells, they were as compelling and good gripping dream, but he did not fully realize they also alarmingly foresaw and depicted the promises and dangers of social and technological revolutions of the 20th century. In addition, these novels reflect his own socialistic political beliefs. In this fascinating preface, Wells puts forth his convictions on the writing of science fiction and describes these tales. For anyone who does not know yet anything of my work, it will probably be more agreeable to begin with The Invisible Man, the disastrous and ultimately tragic adventures of an ambitious young man who makes himself invisible. The Island of Dr. Moreau is an exercise in youthful blasphemy. Now and then, though I rarely admit it, the universe projects itself towards me in a hideous grimace. It grimaced that time, and I did my best to express my vision of the aimless torture in this creation. The War of the Worlds, like the Time Machine, was another assault on human satisfaction. All 3 books are concisely grim, under the influence of Swift's traditions, but I am neither a pessimist or an optimist at the bottom. Horror stories are easier to write than gay and exalting stories. The first, Men in the Moon, I tried an improvement on Jules Verne's shot in order to look at mankind from a distance and a burlesque the effects of specialization. The 2 later books are distinctly on optimistic side. The Food of the Gods is a fantasy, uncharged skill in human affairs. The last story, In the Days of the Comet, is utopian. The world is gassed and cleaned up morally by a benevolent tale of a comet. Maddox Ford best expressed the appeal of the early H.G. Wells. He struck everybody. He delighted the burghers in his profane imagination, and we, intelligentsia, sorted with pleasure at the idea of a genius whom could read without intellectual effort. So there you go, science fiction bus. Book number 3. Book number 4, we have The Winds of Change by Martha Grimes. That's what the book looks like. It's a 2004 copyright, really good condition. You hear that little cracking noises like it has barely been read. And this is what it's about. And I do clean and go through my books and over at pages, so you know. I've had that happen to me before. It's not fun. Getting to the middle of a book and then pages being ripped out, so I make sure you get the whole story if you're a reader. Brian McCalvey of the Devon and Cornwall Police takes this failure especially hard since he headed up the investigation 3 years ago when Flora disappeared one day from the lost gardens of Helligan. Helligan? I don't know how you say that word. Scott's stepdaughter has vanished. His wife Mary has died. He really doesn't need a body in his garden, says McCalvey. He looks down at the unidentified woman murdered in the gardens of the Scott estate, Angelgate. And on the shabby London street, another child lies dead. When Richard Jury bends over the body of the little girl, he knows this will be one of the saddest investigations of his life. Saddest and the most serpentine, for Flora and his child appear to be connected, and in the worst possible way. By Inquisitive's house in North London is these little kids. It's what happened to them. We should have to pay for what we do. What I try to do is put myself in their place, feel what they must feel, terror like that. Maybe we shouldn't go there, McCalvey. McCalvey looked down at the dregs of his drink. Neither should they. Joined by intrepid Melrose Plant, now gardener at Angelgate, Jury and McCalvey rake over the present and past in a pub near Launceston called The Winds of Change. In a case where the victim is hard to identify as the murderer and where no one is exactly who he seems, how can the jury be sure that he himself hasn't been duped in some game of illusion? So there you go. Book number 4. Book number 5. We have Winter Haven by Athol Dickson. This is a 1984 copyright. This is what it looks like. Nice condition. This is what the book's about. 13 years ago, Siggy Gamble ran away from his home, never to be found, until his body washes ashore on a tiny island of Winter Haven off the coast of Maine. Now his sister Vera travels north to claim the body and finds herself tangled in the impossible. Her brother hasn't aged a day since she last saw him. Determined to uncover the cause of Siggy's mysterious end, Vera soon learns that there are many secrets haunting the island. Tales of lost colonies, of a witch bent on revenge, and a towering forest where no creature dares to live. Hemmed in by unearthly fog, distrusted by the locals and forced to rely on the enigmatic owner of grand but dilapidated mansion poised on a rocky cliff, will Vera's desperate question lead to answers, or will her story become yet one more dark Winter Haven legend? That sounds interesting. So there you go. Book number 5. Book number 6. We have The Litigators by John Grisham. That's what the book looks like. It is a 2011 copyright, and this is what the synopsis is, what the book is about. The partners of Finley and Figg, all 2 of them, often refer to themselves as a boutique law firm. Boutique as in is chic, selective, and prosperous. They are, of course, none of these things. What they are is a 2-bit operation always in search of their big break, ambulance chasers who have been in the trenches much too long, making way too little. Their specialties, so to speak, are quickie divorces and DUIs with occasional jackpot of actual car wreck thrown in. After 20+ years together, Oscar Finley and Wally Fig bicker like an old married couple, must somehow continue to scratch out a half a decent living from their seedy bungalow office in southwest Chicago. And then change comes their way. More accurately, it stumbles in. David Zink, a young but already burnout attorney, walks away from his fast-track career at a fancy downtown firm, goes on a serious bender, and finds himself literally on the doorstep of our boutique firm. Once David sobers up and comes to grips with the fact that he's suddenly unemployed, any job, even with Finley and Fig, looks okay to him. With their new associate on board, F&F is ready to tackle a really big case that can make the partners rich without requiring them to actually practice much law. The Litigators is a tremendously entertaining romp filled with the kind of courtroom strategies, theatrics, and suspense that have made John Grisham's America's famous storyteller. So there you go, number 6. Book number 7. We have State versus Justice by Gallatin, Warfield. This is what the book looks like. It is a 1992 copyright, and this is what the book's about. The victim is a Russian diplomat's 6-year-old son. The accused killer, T.J. Justice, is a psychopathic drifter with a history of child molestation. The father of a young boy himself, prosecutor Gardner Lawson's initial reaction is a strong emotional commitment to the case. But when FBI suddenly turns the investigation back to the local police, Gardner senses danger and no threat is greater than Kent King, the vicious, manipulative defense attorney who is also Gardner's sworn enemy. As King mounts his cynical defensive onslaught, Gardner vows victory in spite of a twisted trail of dubious clues and confusing evidence. For Gardner's assistant, Jennifer Munday, watching her boss and King battle above and beyond the law, this case confirms the rumors that their feud is fueled by a dark personal secret. But this is Jennifer's first shot at a major prosecution, and she's got to keep on target despite her growing affection for Gardner. For State Department official Robert Hamilton, the mystery has international implications. Even as Russia's hardline soften, his superiors order him to keep an eye on some strange behavior in the Russian diplomatic community following the murder. It is a vigil that will lead him to uncover devastating truths about the nature of the case. For T.J. Justice, it is a matter quite simply of life and death. And for Gardner Lawson, the compulsion to keep pushing, despite his own misgivings, plunges him into a baffling case that cannot seem to win against an unscrupulous adversary who wants victory inside the courtroom and out. So there you go. Book number 7. Book number 8, we have Sweet Eyes by John Agee. I guess that's how you say his name. What the book looks like. This is a 1991 copyright. It's got some marker right there. Good shape though. And this is what the book is about. Honey Parrish, a 33-year-old woman at loose ends in the small town of Divinity, Iowa. Honey's love affair with Jasper Johnson, the town's only black man, sets off a series of events in present-day Divinity that takes us back to a mystery in Honey's and the town's past, an unsolved murder some 15 years earlier. Over the course of Divinity's 100th year, those closest to Honey are torn between the excitement of the Sentinel celebration and the drama of her new love affair. There is the comic figure of Honey's boss's Bowker, what a name, who guides the Chamber of Commerce through the planning of the town's anniversary party. Twyla Tooley, Honey's best friend and stylist at the Curly YQ, lives by a body philosophy that combines economic and sexual pleasure. A June Boardman, a geologist, doubting that he can weather any of Honey's courtships, nonetheless offers her refuge. Sheriff Boyd Zykart, the town's unofficial historian, pursues Honey, forcing her to help him and herself by unearthing the missing key to her past, and inextricably bound up by this cast of characters are the members of Honey's family, Daddy Baby and absent Tolson, and the ever-present menace of her brother Sonny Boy. Lots of characters. As Honey tries to find a place for herself in this town whose motto is "Divinity is the closest thing to heaven while you're alive, so why leave town?" she discovers that the key to the murder is tied to her struggle to recover her own identity. Her odyssey takes her not only through the town's history, but also through that of her family and her own past. But it is Honey's love affair with Jasper, whose courage in the face of hatred and whose refusal to allow Honey to run away from him in her past, that ultimately frees her from the town and their dark legacies. Sweet Eyes is a searing portrait of a small town life in America's heartland. In it, Agee brilliantly evokes the hatred and violence that runs through the town of Divinity as the result of its racial and familial divisions, sometimes comic, sometimes tragic. This is above all a story of love and redemption. It is a love story about the love between parents and children, sisters and brothers, men and women. It is a chronicle of the high and low cost of love and forgiveness can be. How high it is. Oh, that's sad. This sounds like a good book, though. Book number 9, we have Dead Aim by Iris Johansen. It's got a little bit of marker rating in it. That's what the book looks like. It is a 2003 copyright, and this is what it's about. She witnessed death through the eye of her camera. Now a relentless killer is focused on her. A celebrated photojournalist, Alex Graham, has seen it all, but her latest assignment has forced her across the dangerous line. What happens when a reporter does more than just report? She has recorded some of the most tragic and heartbreaking of catastrophes, everything from natural disasters to infamous acts of terror. Her experiences have left her forever marked with the human side of tragedy. So when the dam breaks in Arapahoe Junction, Colorado, Alex is once more at the site doing more than just snapping pictures. She's in the mud with a shovel digging for survivors. What happens when the reporter becomes the story? Alex finds more than she bargained for. In one terrible instant, she is witness to a conspiracy that will stun the nation. The official story is just a cover-up for the truth so frightening, so unthinkable, anyone who threatens to reveal it must be silenced forever. And now that someone is Alex Graham. The first attempt on her life is swift and brutal. Only barely escaping, she finds an ally in the improbable source. Billionaire financier John Logan has his own reasons for protecting Alex, and these reasons alone are likely to get her killed. Using his vast connections and influences, Logan assigns a bodyguard to protect her. Jude Morgan is the best covert commando in the business, and if anyone can keep Alex safe, it's this quietly dangerous man. The problem is, Alex doesn't want to be kept safe by Jude, whose checkered past has made him the target of an unseen assassin who dogs his every step. So there you go. Book number 9. Book number 10, we have an oldie one here. This one here looks good. It's got a really cool cover. This is a 1945 book. This is called Captain from Castile by Samuel Shellabarger. It's definitely been well loved. It's got aging pages and the deckled look. I love the inside page. It says Mexico. That's so cool. And this is Pedro, who became a fugitive in Cuba, joins forces of courts to become a captain, war, and intrigue in the 16th century. This book would also make a fantastic hardback junk journal. So with that, Everything will be in the description below. If you're interested, you can get a hold of me at tammysmakeuptreats@gmail.com or Minna's Bookstore and more on Facebook. And with that, whatever time zone you're in, I hope you're having a great one. Thank you for stopping by, watching my videos, and commenting on my channel. I'll see you soon. Bye.